A World Cup final often looks like pure, unscripted chaos, but underneath the emotion and the momentum, elite football operates on a sterile geometry. Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappé dominated the headlines, but a systematic formational breakdown dictated the first 80 minutes of play. Argentina's manager, Lionel Scaloni, designed a system to dismantle the defensive structure of the reigning champions. Opposite him, Didier Deschamps spent the match attempting to alter his team's pressing triggers to keep France alive. These were the starting configurations. Argentina lined up in a traditional 4-3-3, while France set up in their standard 4-2-3-1. At the elite level, formations on paper are an illusion. Victory goes to the manager who can dynamically mutate their shape in real time to expose spatial weaknesses. France's high press saw Giroud and Griezmann stepping up to mark Argentina's center-backs. Giroud used shadow covering to block passing angles, removing playmaker Enzo Fernandez from the build-up. Meanwhile, Adrien Rabiot had a dual assignment, man-marking De Paul and cutting off Lionel Messi. To bypass this trap, Scaloni engineered immediate extreme asymmetry across his midfield. The first trigger occurs when De Paul drops deep to Enzo Fernandez's level, dragging Rabiot out of his defensive position. With Rabiot displaced, the second trigger activates. Alexis Mac Allister pushes high into the newly vacated space. For the third trigger, Angel Di Maria remains strictly wide on the left flank to stretch the French defense. This lopsided shape forced Argentina's passing combinations down the left flank, funneling the ball toward Tagliafico. The resulting disorientation caused delays in France's pressing alternation between Giroud and Griezmann, which allowed Enzo Fernandez to receive and distribute. This network data visualization demonstrates the execution. Notice how the clustering of successful passes concentrated entirely on the left flank. By unbalancing the pitch, Argentina weaponized Rabiot's man-marking assignment to tear open the center of the field. As the Argentine buildup consistently bypassed the first line, Deschamps issued new defensive instructions to Adrien Rabiot. Deschamps ordered Rabiot to stop jumping with De Paul. Taking a proper body orientation opened his field of vision to track long passes forward. Scaloni countered by expanding the horizontal split of his center-backs to the edges of the penalty area. This created a knock-on effect. Fullbacks Molina and Tagliafico stretched the pitch width to its maximum. This horizontal stretching took a physical toll. Mbappé and Giroud had to cover massive spatial gaps to maintain their high press. The widening pitch forced Theo Hernandez out of position, pushing higher to press Molina. Manipulating the physical dimensions of the pitch exhausted the French press and created structural fractures in their defensive line. With the build-up phase secured, Argentina shifted their focus to the final third. This diagram illustrates Argentina's final third progression. They abandoned the 4-3-3 shape in possession, morphing into 3-3-4 and 2-2-6 structures. These shapes were deployed with a specific objective, engineering one-on-one situations for Angel Di Maria against Jules Koundé. This diagram shows the mechanics of the overload. De Paul drifted extremely wide to the right, allowing Messi to drop deep into central pockets. Simultaneously, Mac Allister and Alvarez pinned Griezmann and both French center-backs centrally. The intended outcome is clear on the left flank. Jules Koundé was left completely stranded, stripped of his defensive support. Argentina capitalized on Ousmane Dembélé's defensive positioning to execute rapid switches of play into this isolated zone. This action map visualizes to resulting damage. The data shows an overwhelming concentration of successful take-ons for Di Maria in that isolated space. Di Maria's dominance was the result of Scaloni unbalancing the field to force a favorable matchup. In the second half, Deschamps abandoned his passive mid-block to stop the bleeding. He introduced Marcus Thuram and Rondel Colomouani to replace Giroud and Dembélé. This diagram shows the resulting shape. The substitutions transformed France into an aggressive 4-2-3 high press. Mbappé took on new responsibility in this structure, alternating direct pressure against the Argentine center-backs. Griezmann jumped higher into the first line of pressure, shadow covering Enzo Fernandez. Simultaneously, Rabiot stepped up to smother Argentina's defensive midfielders. The ultimate result of this structural overhaul is clear. The passing combinations to Argentina's left flank were shut down. Argentina's build-up broke, forcing them to rely on low-percentage long passes to Julian Alvarez. Scaloni's asymmetric isolation dictated the first hour, but Deschamps' overhaul of the pressing structure in real time recovered the 3-3 draw. Underneath the drama of the penalty shootout lies a 120-minute masterclass in positional chess.